local history, local culture, local events, your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about Wreaths Across America. It's a big project nationwide, including here in Utica. We're going to be talking with Leslie Rainey from the Daughters of the American Revolution. They're a sponsor of the event, and with Gerard Waterman. Gerard is superintendent at Forest Hill Cemetery here in Utica, and that's the site of Wreaths Across America, including some other area cemeteries. We'll talk to you all about it right after this short break. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. We are joined by the aforementioned Leslie Rainey. And Leslie, it's good to see you.
Hi.
The DAR is really helping coordinate this through the area, right?
Correct. We are the local sponsor of the Wreaths Across America program, which is a national program.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know what Wreaths Across America is, explain it.
Well, in 1992, Morrell Worcester in Maine had a wreath company called Worcester Wreath Company. And he had 5,000 extra wreaths.
He had a whole truckload, didn't he?
A whole truckload, and it was towards the end of this season. So he got permission from his senator at the time, her name was Olympia Snow, to place them in a part of Arlington Cemetery where they didn't get a lot of visitors. Now, if we step back a few years, how did he get interested in Arlington Cemetery? As a young boy, he won a trip through the local newspaper to Washington, D.C. And he toured the whole city and was very impressed by what he saw at Arlington. And as a grown man, with his business and having these extra wreaths, he thought, would they be beautiful to be placed somewhere in Arlington? So he got permission, and there were a bunch of people that wanted to help him carry them down to Arlington and get them placed. Some veteran groups from the area, and then veteran groups in Virginia. So he did that, and that went on for quite a few years. And then in 2005, someone took a picture of these beautiful balsam wreaths with the red ribbon leaning against the tombstones at Arlington with snow on the ground.
I've seen that picture.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that picture went viral. And then that's how the whole thing exploded from there.
And it has exploded. It's how big is it now, Leslie?
Well, it involves 3 million volunteers now, and last year 4,200 sites were placing wreaths on veterans' graves.
And the wreaths will be placed on the veterans' graves at Forest Hill and also some other cemeteries.
Correct. They'll be placed on veterans' graves in the old burying ground in Clinton. We'll place ceremonial wreaths at Sunset Hill Cemetery. And then the week before the national program, while the students are still at college, up at Hamilton College, there's an old burying ground up there where some very notable people are buried. And we're very honored to be able to place wreaths on the graves of those individuals.
Is this the first time you've done Hamilton?
No, this will be our 3rd year.
At Hamilton?
Yes.
We did a show, actually, up at that cemetery last year, I think it was. And you're right, there's a lot of notables up there. How do you find out what graves to put the wreaths on?
Usually the people who take care of the cemetery know where the veteran graves are, so we'll mark them beforehand, and then the people will know to place them at those graves.
And do the wreaths still all come out of Maine?
Yes.
And how do they get here? Do they transport them, or?
Well, that's the other incredible part of this whole story. This whole thing has evolved into this giant volunteer organization. Last year, when we had our wreaths delivered, it was a trucking company that came out of Pennsylvania. And the trucker told us that his boss does it free. He donates the truck, the diesel fuel, pays for his time even to do this. It's all, he does it for free for Wreaths Across America. And why do people do all this stuff for free? Because we want to honor our veterans. And it is 100% all about the veterans.
Any idea how many wreaths will be placed in this area, Leslie?
In our area, I would say around 1,200.
And is there an opportunity for people to sponsor?
Yes, we need sponsors, because at Forest Hill, they have up in the top part where veterans, it's a select area for veterans, 1,200 there. But there are veterans, hundreds all over that cemetery. So they can contact me, or I think you're going to show them the QR code. Yeah.
And what does it take to sponsor? Is there a specific amount of money for a sponsorship?
People can sponsor anything. If people give us $1, to sponsor an entire wreath is $17. If they give us $1, we're $16 closer to sponsoring a wreath. But if they want to sponsor one, they can. They can sponsor as many as they want.
How did DAR get involved with this?
Well, it's interesting. Our regent, 2 regents ago, Nancy Langenegger, heard about this, and she had been taking time out of her day to go clean graves at the old burying ground in Clinton. And our regent, current regent, Trina DeFranco, Nancy asked her if she would like to get involved in this, and she said yes. And so Trina did, and she invited me to join her in getting sponsors 2 years later. So I've been involved most,
Yeah,
both
and I want to mention her name because I know her and her husband well. Mary Bottini is involved, yes?
Yes. Yeah, Mary and I are both co-chairs of Wreaths Across America. She does all the site work, getting everything set up for the program, organizing the program itself, and then clean up afterwards, because about a month later we have to collect the wreaths and dispose of them in a proper way.
I didn't think about that. You put them out there, but then you got to get them back.
Correct.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do with them?
Well, they're taken to a place where they're disposed of. But what Trina has done is she saved the flags. And last year she did a flag Christmas tree display at Citron. They were having a contest to see who could design the most interesting or pretty Christmas trees. And she had all these flags that she had saved. And the veterans put the boots out, and it was basically a veteran flag and boot tree. Yeah. And they won first place last year. Yeah.
Does the public turn out for this at all?
Yeah, the public is invited. We want the public to come, and children especially, because 3 of the pillars of Wreaths Across America is remember, honor, and teach. remember our veterans, their service, their sacrifice, honor the dead and the living for what they've done, and also to teach the younger generation about the fact that our freedom is not free.
Mm-hmm. And on the day, December, what is it?
It'll be December 14th, Saturday.
So would the public, if they want to participate in this, they would just go up to Forest Hill and those other cemeteries?
Yes, it's 10 o'clock in the morning at the old burying ground in Clinton, and the school show choir comes out and sings a couple songs, and we have someone from the band who plays taps. We have a full color guard, we have a full ceremony, and so that's at 10 o'clock on Saturday the 14th of December. And then at 12 o'clock, Saturday the 14th, it'll be at Forest Hill Cemetery.
It's interesting that you mentioned taps because, and when the superintendent comes out here, I'm going to ask him about this. The taps was written by a Utican, General Daniel Butterfield. He's not buried at Forest Hill, but his dad is. So we'll talk to the superintendent about that. Do you typically get people turning out for the
we do,
yeah.
we do. And we have a lot of veteran groups that are involved too. The VFW, the American Legion, Team Rubicon comes out, and Vietnam veterans, Purple Hearts. And it's a lovely ceremony. And really, you know, when you think about how busy it is between Thanksgiving and Christmas, this is just a wonderful change of pace to really stop and think about the blessings that we have and how they were obtained.
Have you ever been down to Arlington for their ceremony?
I have not.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Arlington?
Yes.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to think of the word to describe it, but it's a very humbling experience.
It's very,
I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people that want to get involved don't have to be individuals. I mean, you could have a service club or whatever get involved, yes?
Yes. Yeah, they would contact me, and I could put them in touch with Trina, who would help to get them set up.
Yeah. Is it too soon to know if this year is going to be a success or not?
No, it's going to be a success.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the success is measured by getting enough wreaths.
Yes. Yeah.
And the day that the wreaths come in, is that, I bet you that's kind of, I wouldn't mind going up for that, watching that truck come in.
Oh, that's a huge event.
Yeah.
I think they come in about a week prior to the program. Then we have big, huge boxes, and they're carried up to the top of the hill at Forest Hill, and then they're opened, and then people carry them at the appropriate time to the grave. And we ask everyone, when you take the wreath to the grave, just stop for a moment, touch the gravestone, say the veteran's name out loud, and just have a moment of silence for them.
Good. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for the time.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to talk to the superintendent from Forest Hill Cemetery. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. The aforementioned Gerard Waterman joins us. Gerard is the superintendent up at Forest Hill Cemetery. That means he does all the hard work up there.
Day-to-day stuff, yes.
Yeah. How long have you been there?
Oh boy, this is my 41st year. I started right out of high school.
Wow.
I started mowing lawns. That, you know, we still hire 8, 10 guys to mow the lawns. I started back in 81, 82 when I was in college. I went full-time in 83 as the mechanic. And then in 87, I got moved up to ground supervisor. And then in 97, when superintendent ahead of me, Bob Cox, passed away, I got moved up again.
Yeah.
So I've been the superintendent since 97,
Wow.
but been there since like 83.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember a time when I was up there that you weren't involved somehow.
One way or another, right?
Yeah, yeah. Big deal coming up for Forest Hill with this Wreaths Across America.
I think this is probably going to be our 5th year working with the DAR. They do a great job for this Wreaths Across America. They send up a tractor trailer, a regular 18-wheeler. He comes through our gate.
Can you get that tractor trailer through there?
Yeah, they do fit. Just got to be sure you're nice and straight, but they will fit.
Okay.
And we got pictures of it. There's a big 18-wheeler with Wreaths Across America on it. And I think Leslie was talking about that. That was donated from a trucking outfit. And we have a skid steer that takes these wreaths off. They are all on pallets. There's, I think, 4 groups on a pallet, and I think there's 7 or 8 high. They each hold 7 or 8, I think it's 9 wreaths in each box. And we have about 15 pallets that we have to unload. And then the day of or the day before, we would distribute them on the different plots up in the cemetery.
And when the truck comes in there, that's got to be just a...
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I say, we have pictures of them coming through the gate that we keep for our historical presence there. He has like Christmas lights around the cab and everything. It is kind of moving.
I mentioned to Leslie that I wouldn't mind, seeing the whole thing, but when the truck arrives, I think that's got to be exciting. I wouldn't mind coming up for that.
Yep. He usually calls and tells, the driver will call and tell us that he's about 2 hours out. He's just leaving a cemetery in Albany, and he will come up and, excuse me, drop most of them off at our place, and then Leslie's group will come and take a couple of boxes for Clinton that she talks about, where we have over 1,000 wreaths that we put out.
And I know one of the things about Forest Hill is that your record keeping up there is excellent.
Yeah, we have the original records going back to 1850 when we first opened up. And just a little sidebar, next year will be our 175th anniversary of being open.
Why don't you make a note, and I'll make a note. Come in and we'll talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the process right now of planning some events, for that. Maybe some tours, an open house, different stuff. We've been around for 175 years here in Utica.
And you got some of the big names up there, the Proctors, Conkling.
All the old Utica history.
Yeah.
A lot of the old Utica history is there, the Faxtons, and new history or new well-to-do people are also still coming to us.
And James Schoolcraft Sherman's got a wonderful mausoleum up there.
Yep.
And right up, probably one of the nicest spots in the cemetery, overlooking the city.
Overlooking the Eagle. That is, I heard, the highest point in the city limits is the Eagle. So like you said, his mausoleum overlooks the city. You got a real good view.
Is his wife there too?
Yes.
He was married. I'm just trying to think. Yeah.
Yep.
The number of veterans in Forest Hill, you have a card for everybody, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
And on that card, are there statistics, the date of birth?
More so on the headstones. We do have the date of interment, the date of birth, date of death, where they were born, where they died, the funeral director that buried them, the lot, and the plot they were buried on, along with their parents' name.
And do you also, I'm trying to think the last time I did a little search up there, I think you had also an obituary attached to it.
It was around 1940 or so, we started to hang on to the obituaries if they were in a paper, and to this day we still do it.
I think that's a great
it's
research.
Yes, a lot of these people from out of town will come up and look up their ancestors, and they're just kind of blown away by we have the obituary, you know, and I don't know, maybe it's rewarding. You see these people's eyes light up,
Yeah,
you know, and
sure.
now they can go back another generation or another step or clear up something in their family,
Yeah.
you know, with the obituaries. So that works out good.
Now I can find it, but I can't describe where it is. There's a section at Forest Hill, and it is just veterans.
Right. Yep.
Is there a name for that?
Well, we have two veterans plots. We have the original one is on plot 42. That is a lot of Civil War guys that actually came back from the war. They joined the post that sponsors it there, and they could buy a plot or they could be buried there. So there's a lot of Civil War, World War I. There's some World War II guys on there. And then after 9/11, I kind of had this idea up by our pond. We had a little triangle area, excuse me, that we had a bunch of pine trees planted there. Well, from a maintenance point of view, it was tough. We always we could just go in there with weed eaters because the trees were so close. And the guys were always coming out with poison ivy. So I had this idea to take the trees down and make another veterans plot with the pond as the backdrop. And that is our second one, which we are still using today. So we do have two veterans plots, but there are a lot of veterans buried on the plots throughout the cemetery.
How, and are those all on their cards, the fact that they're a veteran?
On some of our cards, they will put, like years ago, they would just write a little American flag on the lot card. Or sometimes they may put VET next to them.
How big is Forest Hill Cemetery, acre-wise?
The acre total is about 165 acres, and we have about 90 developed. And we still have 50 acres to go. All those woods beyond, if you go up Steel Hill Road there after the Eagle, a lot of those woods on the right-hand side are ours. And we're starting to expand back in there just so it looks a little better.
And it's open to the public when to when?
Yeah, well, the gates are usually open when I get there at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then they are closed at dusk. So like right now, they're closed around 6 o'clock or so. You know, during the winter, it's closed. We usually close them when we leave at 4:30, and then during the summer, they're open till 9 o'clock. But the office is usually closed at 4:30.
And that architecture that you have at the entrance to the Forest Hill, that's really unique.
Yeah, yep. That's one of our calling cards, really. That arch that was built, I think, around the turn of the century, 1900, 1901, around in there, along with our chapel. That was donated to us by the Child's Chapel. That was built in 1880, and we had it redone again in 1979, and now it needs more work.
Does it?
Yeah, we applied for a grant through New York State to have some money to shore up one of the walls. It's kind of fallen apart after 100 and something years. So we're hoping to get that to help revitalize the chapel, because that's another one of our calling cards. You know, both of those buildings were built the turn of the century, and we got to hang on to them.
I've got to ask you about this. I mentioned to Leslie Daniel Butterfield, who wrote Taps, that's going to be played at your ceremony for Wreaths Across America. He is buried in the West Point Cemetery, Daniel, but his father, John, is buried at your place. And it's, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the only life-scale statue in the cemetery.
Life-scale, yeah. There is a couple of other little statues in our cemetery, but he is like the life-size.
Life-size is what I meant to say, And I was up there not too long ago, and I noted that his, let's see, it would be his right arm. His
right
off.
hand broke
right
off.
hand,
There was a tree in back of his lot that it's a really old tree, and we had a lot of trees come down this summer with the wind, and one of them just caught his wrist and broke it off his arm, and then it shattered when it hit the ground. So we really couldn't even put it back together. It was about 10, 12 pieces. We really couldn't. It's too bad, you know.
It is too bad,
So we plan on cleaning that stone this summer. Just going back to the DAR a little bit, they were just at our cemetery here a couple of weeks ago, cleaning headstones for the veterans' headstones, the upright marbles. The Forest Hill Cemetery preservation started, and my wife Kathy kind of helped out with that to raise some money to buy the brushes and the materials to do this. And then the DAR came up, and along with the Proctor ROTC, Mark Williams's cadets there, we have a good rapport with them also. And they came up and cleaned up some of the headstones too of the veterans.
And is that association, we've only got about 30 seconds here, but is that association preservation thing, is that new?
Yes, it is. Just started here probably about a year ago, just to try to raise money for like the chapel and other projects for the cemetery, just to try to keep it going. Obviously, we have to keep it going. There's a lot of history.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's a beautiful place when you get down to it.
It is a beautiful place. Come back and talk about your anniversary.
Oh,
will
sure.
you? I'd love to have you come
Okay,
back.
yeah. Hopefully, I have some more plans for you.
Okay.
Great.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, Joe, I haven't been here in about 10 years.
It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
it's been a little while, but that's fine.
Too long.
Yep.
That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget CNYhomepage.com. There's a lot of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.